think it's going pretty well, really. The beta showed us what we already knew, which is there are a couple of issues with GPU rendering and certain graphics cards, and that there are a few issues with the match engine, and particularly the collision detection, which we're working through at the moment. We've got another week to get them all nailed. Everyone here is very confident that we will do. But beyond those couple of problems, I think it's been pretty universally well received, the beta. It's been amazing seeing so many people playing it. There are over 60,000 people currently playing the beta, which was a much higher number than we were expecting. And the fact that I actually have not got the time at the moment to respond to people praise on Twitter, because we're getting so much of it, is a pretty good sign, really. We were always confident that this was the best game that we've ever made, and it's nice to see the vast majority of people that are playing it at the moment back that up. What's happening is we get people dropping out each year and people coming in each year. So audience-wise, we're growing year on year, and we have been for, I think it's something like 18 of the last 20 years that we've been making games. The next game has sold more than the previous one. So the audience by default is getting older, because if we had people playing the game 18 years ago, they're going to be older now. So we just want to try and make games for everyone. And now that we've got Football Manager Handheld and we've got Football Manager and Football Manager Classic, I think we're pretty much there for hitting people from the ages of 10 to 80 now, really, which is our target. The idea for FMC was basically to have a game there that people who didn't have the time to play FM anymore could. We did a huge survey a couple of years that basically started out as trying to work out what we were going to do for consoles longer term. And we'd had this idea of a cut down version of Football Manager. And we took that out to over 9,000 Europeans, which is a massive sample when you're doing these kinds of surveys. And about 95% of them said that they loved the idea, but they didn't want it on console. And when we asked why, they said that there's a problem with taking over their living room. Because if you play a game on a console, then you're on TV. And basically, people still wanted to have longish play sessions, 4 to 6 hours, but they didn't have the time to have them every night anymore, because they've got wives, they've got kids, they've got jobs. And when I came back to the studio after doing all that, we'd kind of been discussing it internally anyway, and I found out that some of the more senior guys here, people who've been with us for 12, 15 years, also weren't playing the full simulation mode anymore, because they, again, didn't have time to play it. So we were trying to come up with something that those people could play on their PC, and that's how FMC happened, really. So, as entertainers, we want to entertain as many people as possible. So if we've got a particular group of people who say they want to be playing our games, but they don't have time to play them anymore, then we need to do something to make sure that they still can. Well, we've worked with a usability company over here who are used to working on corporate websites and huge online shopping experiences. And we've been working with them for a few years to try and streamline everything and make it easier to use. What's been interesting for me with the beta this year is there are a bunch of people turning around and going, I love this new feature. And I'm kind of sitting there going, that's not a new feature. That's been in the game a few years and we've just made it easier to find. So yeah, we spend a lot of time, and we've got a huge user interface team here, and a few 2D artists who work full-time on the user interface and trying to streamline it and make it as good an experience as for the person playing the game as possible, because we want them to be able to find all the options. I think we're about 90% of the way there. There's certainly more stuff that we want to do next year, and I think that the animations on the user interface are actually going to help that quite a bit. So yeah, long may the improvements continue on that score. Well, last year we improved a few of the animations in the match, but we deliberately didn't touch the AI apart from a few bug fixes because Paul was working on this long-term project of redoing the AI. We had a guy called Des here who isn't with the studio anymore. He's been replaced by a guy called Dave. And Dave and a guy called Ed have been working on the physics engine and a new collision engine. And basically everything has kind of come together at the same time. So the fact that we have the new physics engine in and that we've got the new collision engine in and the new AI has meant that we're able to do a lot more of the animation work as well. And Dave Crammon's been working on all the improvements there. So, you know, we knew that last year we were kind of taking a break from the match because we had too much stuff to do in a 1 year annual cycle. So that's why we switched to the 2 year cycle for the match engine. We haven't decided what we're going to do next year with match yet. We've got incredibly big plans, and I don't know if they'll all be possible to do in a year. We'll sit down and work that out in December or January and decide what the next stages are. But you know, you talk about how the game has a kind of TV, how the match has a kind of TV vibe to it, and that's what we want. You know, we want people to be watching games on the screen, thinking in the same way as they would do if they were watching a game on the TV, but just with zoomed out camera angles so that you can see more of the pitch. So there are 12 unlockables in total, 7 of which can be won inside the game, can be earned inside the game. And that's something that we had in Football Manager Handheld and has been incredibly popular in Football Manager Handheld. So we thought that we'd add them to FMC as well. There are 5 items which, as far as we're concerned, are cheats. They're ways for people to accelerate their progress, if you like, if you don't like the word cheat. And for those, we're charging for them because if people want to cheat, they're going to cheat. We've seen in many iOS titles that kind of thing working incredibly well. Certainly when I get stuck on Angry Birds, I don't think twice about going and buying a eagle to get me through. So, you know, it's just one of those things that if people want to use them, they can. There's no degradation of the gameplay by not using them at all. But yeah, they're just there. As I said, seven out of the 12 are there to be won. The other 5 we didn't want you to win in game, but our research showed that people wanted that stuff to be possible, so we've made it possible. Well, some people are. I mean, you know, when I'm looking at stuff like the YouTube videos and I see 100 negative comments or 200 negative comments, there are a million people who play the game, and if you look at, or there are a million people who buy the game each year. If you look at some of the other comments from people on our forums, and if you look at some of the tweets that I've had and some of the other comments on YouTube, they're quite positive about it. So it's, I think we have a bit of an issue in modern day society where one person thinks that their point of view is the point of view of absolutely everybody in the world. And if they shout it really loudly, then they're the person that's opinion must be true. Fact is that there's all kinds of different people out there, and we're trying to make games for everybody. So some people like it, some people don't like it. The people who don't like it don't have to use it. No one's forcing them to. So it's a complete and utter optional feature inside the game. Genuinely, I don't have one. There's so much in the game this year. From, as I mentioned earlier, classic mode, new network game, which is ace, the new match engine, which I'm certainly enjoying a lot because it's much better for the kind of passing football that I like my teams to play. The tones being used in more places is also really good. Taxation system, being a bit of a numbers nerd, I like the fact that taxation's in the game. The user interface, as you mentioned, I mean, there's so many things this year that it's actually impossible for me to pick one. I wish. I think the first day I've got off this year is the 19th of December. So, and that includes weekends. So there's still a long way to go yet. But again, as I said, I can't complain because I'm so lucky to get to do what I do.